We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling.
Yes, welcome back. And um, today we thought we'd cover Michigan, Nebraska was very unexpected, but the Big Ten has been very unpredictable all season long, and that's what makes this sport so great and fun. Is that any team can beat any other team on any given week, unless I guess that's Penn State to be determined. They haven't,
TBD.
they haven't lost in quite a bit. But there are three teams that we're going to kind of focus on: Nebraska, Michigan, and Iowa, because they have completed the Pokemon triangle. Water beats fire, fire beats grass, grass beats water situation going on here.
I was thinking rock, paper, scissors, but yeah.
I guess it's, yeah.
Obviously, it's the Pokemon Triangle. Who
Yeah,
plays
it's
rock,
always the
paper, scissors
Pokemon.
anyway?
It's always the Pokemon triangle.
Strong
So
shape.
this this past weekend, Michigan was the grass and Nebraska was the fire. They won 6 straight matches to start, and some of these were pretty
Big
substantial
upsets.
upsets.
Yeah, could you imagine you're at that duel and you're rooting for Michigan and they just keep losing match after match after match, and even when Griffith won,
It was like 1-0.
or
It was 1-0.
1-0, 2-1. I thought something.
I mean, it helped that it was Nebraska's senior night at home, so they were
Yeah,
jazzed up.
they're
Yeah,
bringing it. But no, I mean, Jack hit the nail on the head. Friggin' imagine being Michael DiAugustino, Caleb Smith. Okay, Caleb Smith is favored. He's the 9. DiAugustino's the 10. Okay, 8-5 win. Pretty close. That's a takedown now to send it to overtime. But Jacob Van D beating Dylan Ragusin was not in my bingo card for the week.
no, not at all.
Just like I was like, oh, dude's like number 30 ranked to get, wrestling number 4 should be pretty easy work. Losing 3-2, not what I expected.
Not at all, especially with how consistent Ragusin had been
Yeah.
He's
recently.
undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Van Dies has losses this year to Anthony Madrigal, Julian Farber, Brody Teske, Zeth Romney, Kurt Phipps. 6 losses on the season. And then he takes out arguably one of the top ranked guys.
Yeah.
With Ragusin. I mean, he's a funky dude. He could cause some problems at nationals, getting into those types of scrambles and whatnot.
I mean, number 4 in that weight is deadly. You have, because in front, in no particular order, you have Vito, Crookham, and Fix. To be that number 4 is pretty legit.
Yeah. That's very true.
I was hoping Lemley would have, hey, just beat Real Woods. What a crazy week for you. How are you going to follow that up with against wrestling Brock Hardy? Okay, 13-9 for Brock Hardy.
That was a crazy match, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Granted, it was like back and forth. The scoring was wild. Some hardcore wrestling, some great scrambling, some lead changes. I think it was just a little too much for Lemley, and Hardy's kind of a veteran guy there.
Hasn't Hardy not beaten Woods? Like, he's never.
No, he hasn't.
Through that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this could be the year. I mean, Bo Bartlett hadn't beaten him before either, and now, he did.
That's true.
I like Brock Hardy a lot. He's very unconventional. But Lemley, he gets after it. He's fun to watch. He's exciting. He kind of got out scrambled in a couple positions against Hardy, but that's also a dangerous guy come national.
Well, he hasn't lost to Bartlett before, so
that's true.
That is true. Which will make the Penn State Nebraska duel that much more interesting.
I think for Brock Hardy too, getting the last second takedown to just put the kind of nail in the coffin. He was up 10-9. I think he got hit for stalling, or maybe it was a stalemate position. I can't remember it. And a few seconds left. Lemley's getting after. He knows he needs a takedown, and Hardy just says, "Hey, there's my opportunity." Gets the takedown, wins 13-9. in what could have finished as a 10-9 match, like down to the wire.
Yeah.
But
not to jump over, but I just thought it was coming back to the Pokemon Triangle because I love that so much. Caleb Smith beat Michael DiAugustino 8-5.
Right. Yeah, that's
But hold on. Michael DiAugustino beats Drake Ayala 2-1 in the ultimate tiebreaker.
yep.
Drake Ayala decisions Caleb Smith 7-3.
Hey, the Pokemon Triangle works at all weight classes, okay?
I tell you. I mean, that just goes to show you, like, any given day. That's what, yeah, it's gonna be so good at nationals when this all comes together.
I mean, I've always heard the saying, it's like it doesn't matter who's the best, it just matters who's the best that day. And I think that's so true for like wrestling nationals. It's like, the better wrestler doesn't always win. It's just how it goes in the sport. Like you only need to beat him at that one specific time.
And speaking of Jake Van D, we were just talking to him about him. He also beat Brody Teske when they wrestled Iowa, and at the time Teske was ranked number 7.
Yeah.
Van D was number 30. So this guy's coming on hard. It's going to be interesting to see how he does against Nagao.
It definitely, hopefully, I mean, I'm sure Nagao is hoping for a bounce back match after the last few losses. But interestingly, and we'll talk about this in our Penn State preview, one commenter said, like, look, like if you remember Nagao last year, yeah, he was good, but he had a lot of losses and he didn't really get big until Big Tens and NCAAs. And he goes, so, he could just be having the same issue. And Penn State is known for their, big leap at the postseason. So maybe he's going to be right where he needs to be again. Who knows?
And I'm also looking at it again. Another Pokemon Triangle at 141. Brock Hardy beats Sergio Lemley 13-9. Sergio Lemley majors Real Woods 14-2. Real Woods decisions Brock Hardy 8-2. All this season.
To be fair, though, I still think that it was a bit of a fluke with Sergio Lemley over Real Woods. Not a fluke, but like I think the score was not as accurate. I think he had two.
You're right. It should have been a pin.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have.
Yeah. I think that they're afraid to call some pins this year. I think there was another pin that people were like, well, that was definitely a pin as well. And they didn't make it as well. I just think that in big matches between two high power teams, they're like, oh, I don't want to be the guy that says it.
Yeah, but like Real Woods just lost to Bo Bartlett pretty embarrassingly. Like Bo Bartlett doesn't shoot against people, and he shot and scored him down twice. So like Sergio Lemley's win against that, maybe it's just Real Woods is just not himself right now. I don't know if it's a fluke. I definitely give credit to Lemley for winning that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. It's tough because like Woods was looking good at the beginning of the season. He beat Brock Hardy pretty handedly. But as of late, maybe he's got something going on. I don't know.
It is. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the Iowa wrestling room to see what really goes on because we joke around a lot and we speculate a lot, but something's going on there, and their guys are not being their best at the right time, and it's interesting to see what why that is. But how about 149? Ridge Lovett has all but secured an NCAA title, in my opinion, after his thrashing of Austin Gomez.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Why would Gomez go for a toss like that in the first period?
I think that he's like, hey, I'm the big move guy, and I got to hit big moves.
And yeah, he got shown up, and then he got turned twice, tilted, and then just flat out turned.
Lovett's top game is impressive. Really impressive against a really tough wrestler like Austin Gomez, who is really, really like finicky, doesn't give up a lot of easy points, makes guys like have to earn everything against him, and still just couldn't handle, Lovett.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Lovett at this point is by and far the favorite for 149 heading into postseason. We almost had ourselves, well, No, we didn't because Lovett beat both everyone. I was hoping for another Pokemon Triangle, but maybe there'll be another one.
There could be. I mean, let's see if KSAC beats Lovett, we're gonna have a wild, triangle.
I can't wait to see all the Pokemon Triangles once the season is said and done. But just between these three teams alone, we already have two. So moving to 57, this is a battle between
Peyton Robb and Will Luan.
Peyton Robb.
Will Luan, the eternal wrestler. I don't know how to put it in a nice way.
The eternal wrestler who never scores points.
Yeah,
he kind of got robbed though. I don't know, like
against Peyton Robb. It's interesting.
I thought he hooked the leg, like, and Peyton Robb, his grip was like in his crotch, and he didn't seem like he had. Luan seemed like he had control at the buzzer, but they didn't call it.
I mean, they had the challenge brick out. They did review it. It was, neutral danger. They weren't counting Rob holding on. Challenge brick. I think that the challenge brick has been something we've kind of discussed as well. But a 2-1 win for Peyton Robb in like what would be the lowest scoring match of the night up until, 174. But yeah, Nebraska not looking good, losing the first few matches, only being down 15-0 against Michigan.
And then just like that, another Pokemon Triangle because Peyton Robb beats Will Luan 2-1. Will Luan beats Jared Franek 2-2 in the ultimate tiebreaker. And Jared Franek beats Peyton Robb 5-4 this season.
And who have they all lost to or will lose to? Levi Haynes.
Well, that's a stretch.
Zerbin.
Yeah, Vinny Zerbin.
The
Zerbinator.
You've been Zerbined.
But how crazy is that? Like, that's 3 matchups where they all swapped matches between 3 teams. Like, if these teams wrestled 9 out of 10 times, I feel like it would go back and forth. Like,
yeah, that stands to reason, especially with how close some of those matches have been.
It would be a sweet shark bait group.
Yeah, right.
But I was super surprised at 165. I know I give Cam Amin a lot of crap, but I was still like, oh, he's better than Antrell Taylor. Not the case today.
I thought so too, but did you see Antrell Taylor's grip strength when he just like grabbed Amin's wrist and then yanked it away and kicked his leg back? I was like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Like, that is superhuman strength right there.
I think that, Amin losing in a tiebreaker just goes to show too, like, the conditioning might not be there for him to keep a high pace, which he really hasn't had a high pace. And we kind of joked about this. He did the interview. He's like, yeah, like if I wrestle fast and aggressive, no one can beat me. It's like, okay, but you don't wrestle fast or aggressive.
And yet he's a 3-time All-American.
Yeah, for sure. Like, dude wins matches, but like, I don't know what his thing is.
Yeah, he's definitely in a tough stretch right now. I don't know if he'll be able to bounce back. I mean, this is another guy. He's been around the college scene for a lot of years now. Maybe the toll. I mean, yeah, 65 though. Antrell Taylor, he's a younger guy. I don't know if he'll stand to not get majored against Mitch Messenbrink, but beating Cam Amin is definitely an impressive resume builder.
You think his grip strength will help him stop Messenbrink?
Definitely. Yeah. Ben Askren talked about it in his video that, grip strength was the number one way to beat Mitchell Messenbrink.
So, yeah, super impressive, just even career win for Antrell Taylor, who, in a duel did exactly what you're supposed to do. He's like, he wins the tight match. So that was great.
And he's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah. Super young
guys getting it done.
That's it. Yeah. I think you're going to see more and more talented young guys entering.
I mean, think of it this way. He's lost to Michael Caliendo 8-3. No, not another triangle. There will be another one, but
Yeah, oh yeah.
he was only decisioned by Michael Caliendo 8-3. And how about this? Dean Hamidi, who is a bonus machine, only beat him 7-2.
Wow, good for him. Yeah,
So
he knows how to wrestle a tight match. I mean, he's just got to start converting a few of those more in his direction, and he'll be in really good shape.
yeah. So so 74 was Shane Griffith finally gets them on the board in um
Shane Griffith fashion.
yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have much of an offense going for him. He is lethal on top, so no one's choosing bottom, or no one should be choosing bottom.
Yeah, I was about to say some guys are still like, I'll go under Shane Griffith, and it's like, wow, dumb. But smart enough, Bubba Wilson and his Nebraska was like, no, we're going neutral.
Do you think Shane can ride Carter?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. He's so good with that leg,
He's
though. He
good.
just throws it in, and
I think Carter's the same way though. He's when he wants to ride, he rides well. I mean, he rode out Mecca,
Okay,
multiple
but
times.
that's Carter riding out Griffith. We're
No,
talking
I
about
know, but I think like if you're a good rider on, usually you're able to get away from other good riders.
I don't know if that necessarily translates.
I don't know. I don't think, and let us know in the comments. Do you think Carter would be ridden out by Shane Griffith? Let's say scenario is its ultimate tiebreaker and he's got to ride. Is Carter getting away or is he not getting away?
I put my money on Griffith holding it.
I would be a toss up. I'd be like,
Yeah.
might get away.
I think if it's ultimate tiebreaker, Carter's on bottom. I think he wills a pin.
He wills a pin. Yeah, okay.
We need to change Mike's last
Lightning
name.
strikes twice.
Yeah.
We need to change Mike's last name to Nolf.
That's it. I love that Jason Knopf video. That was freaking great. Mikey Labrioli's going to come in and coach. He's going to be like, no, roll. I know you're on top. Look to roll.
But I mean, hey, Sugar Shane, he keeps getting it done though. I mean, but Bubba Wilson though, he's kept matches close.
He's a gamer.
Yeah. But he's not a guy that I think is going to threaten to take out like a Carter or someone, but he'll lose by decision. Like a lot of his losses, I think all of his losses, I'm looking at it right now. He got pinned early in the season, but every single one of his other losses are by decision. Close scoring matches. Patrick Kennedy beat him 9-5. Max Mailer beat him 4-2. Edmund Ruth 4-0 and Shane Griffith 1-0. So Bubba Wilson is a veteran guy, 5th season, round of 16 last year. So
could be a threat, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Carter's probably not going to wrestle this weekend, but we'll get to that in a different video.
Yeah. How about that Lenny Pinto?
Oh, I love Lenny Pinto.
A classic Eastern PA wrestler.
That dude just gets after it. I mean, he is so large too. He's so massive. He's a massive 84-pounder.
He is very large.
Remember, we had that one video where we featured his takedown.
I mean, it's a great takedown.
Yeah. You guys should check it out. Go through the Cactus Collective.
That was when we were doing technique breakdown analysis. We kind of strayed from that.
Yeah, those videos.
But hey, if you want it back, we're open to it.
Yeah.
We're always open to feedback and ideas.
Not me.
That's why he's the pretty one.
Whatever I say goes. I was surprised Pinto didn't get a major here.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, not that, Jaden's not a good wrestler. He is. He's talented. I think he had he didn't get majored by Truax either when they wrestled. I think it was 7-0. But I thought Lenny Pinto was more dynamic scorer than Truax. So I kind of expected a major here. Especially with the 3-point takedown. Lenny's up 6-2 after the first, 10-3 going into the third, wins 10-4. I just think that I was surprised, and not that the duel mattered for it. I mean, Nebraska had it locked up at this point, pretty much.
Yeah.
I just thought like, hey, let's just see Lenny Pinto continue to get after it because that's his style, is to score points and get after it.
Yeah. He'll continue to wrestle hard heading into the postseason.
Yeah.
So how about Silas Allred? I mean, a few years ago, he was the guy who beat Maxine twice. Was that last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, last year beats Maxine twice, Big Ten championship and at NCAA's, and maybe it was just a matchup thing. Maybe he matched up really well against Max Dean because I was expecting him to kind of, take a jump this year, but he's got a lot of losses, and he didn't All-American last year. He was around a 12 guy, but
that's what I was about to say is that, even though he beat Max Dean still outplaced him.
yeah.
So it might have been kind of a matchup thing. He just had Max's number. Still though, really good major for him. Granted, Bobby Strigau is an unranked wrestler. But it's I'm sure Nebraska wants to see the guys that they expect to win. So 14-2, pretty commanding match for him.
And it's not as promising knowing that Glazier majored Allred earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about how he'll match up against Aaron Brooks, I don't know. Unless he has a thing against Penn State and just knows how to wrestle against Penn State.
That could be it.
Could be it. And then rounding it out, Lucas Davison majors Nash, the polar bear.
I am still surprised that Nash is wrestling. I could have swore he was like 320 pounds or something like that size when he was playing football for Nebraska as a defensive lineman. And I thought the reason he chose football over wrestling, despite being I think it was a 3 or maybe even a 4-star for football, but he was the number 1 heavyweight in the nation, was that he's like, hey man, I think I can go to the NFL. I'm going to focus solely on football. I'm surprised to see him kind of enter the wrestling world again. I wasn't expecting it.
I think Nebraska's coaches were probably like, hey, we actually have a chance to maybe take second place this year if we have you in the thing. You could probably qualify for nationals. I don't think he'll All-American, but he'll probably do better than whoever they had at heavyweight. I mean, he's had some wins. And he lost 8-0 to Lucas Davison, but Lucas Davison's a multiple-time All-American.
Yeah. Lucas Davison's freaking great, dude.
Yeah.
His only blemish really was to Nick Feldman. Other than that, he's beaten all the guys he's expected to beat, and he only lost, I think, to Kirk besides that, which, Kirk's the number 1 guy.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of cool though. I feel like it's good for wrestling to see these crossover athletes, Ben Keeter and Nash. It gives them more of a story of like, oh, you're a football player. Oh, look at these football players who are actually choosing to go back to wrestling. Like that's really cool, and that'll help grow the sport.
Super cool storyline. Yeah, I remember. So Nash's father is a huge fan of his son. Obviously, like super
He's
proud.
massive, by the way.
Yeah,
have you seen pictures.
I have, and his father used to put up videos of Nash lifting, and like in my powerlifting career, I used to be like, man, what a like really strong, talented high schooler. So I started following him, and I have a thing for heavyweight wrestling. I find it very interesting. So I was like super bummed, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. He's gonna do football. Like, I think it'd be awesome to see him wrestle. And so I'm happy to be like, hey, like he's getting pulled back in. Hopefully his football career isn't derailed, and that's why he's joining, wrestling again. Hopefully he's just saying like, hey, I want to get in better shape. I want to be pushed. I want to work on my hand fighting some more, which is huge for offensive and defensive linemen. So yeah, I'm just happy to see, just like you said, the crossover between wrestling and football, and to show guys out there that you can do both. My younger brother did both in college, so it is possible. Specialization's awesome, but don't feel like you need to. You could get where you want to go by being a multi-sport athlete.
Amen to that.
Yep. Jack was a
So-
cross country runner.
Who?
You were a cross country runner as well.
Not in college though.
No, but I mean, if you wanted to, maybe.
Maybe. Um, so pretty crazy when you take a look at it. How much crossover there are. This guy beats this guy, and then it just goes into a triangle, like we were talking about. All in the Big Ten, by the way. Like I'm sure there's so many examples of this throughout wrestling, but just the fact that we've seen it in 3 dual meets this season alone between I guess 9 total guys.
Yeah.
Is pretty crazy. So drop a comment down below. You know, what you think about kind of these matchups, and like we always say, like any given day that anyone could beat anyone else. It's just who what was it? How did you word it earlier? What was the saying?
The best wrestler doesn't always win. It's the best on that day.
Yeah, there you go. That's not
Which
that.
I've never seen it more true than Spencer Lee, Matt Ramos. And not to belittle Matt Ramos's accomplishments, but I think in the career trajectory, whether it be folk style in high school, folk style in college, freestyle career, Spencer is the better wrestler, just not better that when he needed to be.
It
And I
just
think that's huge.
that minute, really. It was just that minute.
That's it. All it takes is 1 minute in wrestling for the entire match to get swung their direction. And I think that's what's so great about the sport is that you really have to be wrestling for 7 minutes. It's not like football where it's like, hey, I'm up by 6 touchdowns, and we muffed it. Like that could never happen. Basketball, it's like, oh, we're up by 80 points. We give he dunked on us. Well, it's not a 70-point dunk. But wrestling, I mean, Mike and I think, I don't know if he remembers the match, but I remember it vividly at New England finals one year. This kid's about to tech in the finals, and he slips, and the kid throws him, and he gets pinned. Going from a tech to get to losing, and it's like, wow, well, that's the finals. That's your New England champion, and the better guy didn't win. So
It was
just
all staged. It was all staged.
Love that about the sport.
Nelson Brands had a bet on that match.
Nelson said a bet on that. Yeah. Oh yeah, he did.
Comment down below, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And thanks for watching Cactus Wrestling.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.